I'd like to talk about the college application process. This is a process that either stirs excitement or anxiety in our students and parents. And what we're hoping our job here today in explaining some of this to you is to increase some of the excitement in it. It's an exciting time. Your son or daughter, I'm sure, has worked hard to get to be a senior, and we want to make sure that this year counts. One of the things that we notice as soon as we start to meet with students in the fall is that many of our students have a list of colleges and universities and goals that they have, and they're developing through this process. They've developed through high school. They're certainly developing in the senior year. Many students through this process get more questions about different opportunities that they may have. As it pertains to colleges and college searching, we still like to offer our counseling staff and our counseling office as a resource in searching for colleges. We've already been talking to students through our schedule change process in the beginning of the year, and many students are confused on how to search effectively for college and college opportunities. Through our process of meeting with seniors, through our College Cafe, which I mentioned in a previous segment, we can show students how to effectively search based on what those students think to believe is a right fit. And that's what we're looking for. We're looking for a fit for your son or daughter into college and into their future past OFA. The application process into college can vary greatly. It can go from anything from a free application to one of our local community colleges to spending $50 or $60 on an application. So we want to be very thoughtful through the application process. That's why we spend a lot of time in the springtime of junior year talking to parents and students about searching for colleges, finding the right fit, and spending a lot of time doing that because applications, like anything else, in most situations cost money. So we want to make sure that you're making effective choices based on your family budget. There are several ways that a student can apply to college. There are two more popular ways that we're going to talk about in this segment. One being the Common Application, which if you can read this, it's at www.commonapp.org. It's a place where students can apply to more than 450 colleges and universities. This number keeps rising. The reason why it's rising is the popularity of this process of going online, creating an online account, an online application, working through that application, and please note that application has some biological information on students and families, but it also contains things like short answer, a college essay, and things that students will really need to plan and be thoughtful about. So if you think that this might be a method for college application for you, we strongly encourage students to go to commonapp.org and at least check it out. You can see the components of the application process. You can see what schools the Common App surveys, and see if that will be a good fit for you in terms of the application process. Being in New York State, the SUNY system offers a wide variety of educational opportunities at an effective cost, and there's no doubt that it makes it a popular choice among our students and families. Now please note that some of our SUNY schools can be applied to through the Common Application. Schools like Binghamton University and Geneseo, and the list keeps growing, can be serviced through the Common App. But please note, if you're applying to primarily SUNY schools, the SUNY application might be the best fit for you. It will require some of the same information as the Common App. It's just a different format. So if you think that one of these two application styles could be best suited to you, please go online and check them out. They're very user-friendly in terms of the website, and if your students are having any problems navigating these two sites, that's what we're here for. Perfect opportunity for during your college interview and the College Cafe to talk to us about that process. We've also listed a couple of our local colleges here in our area that become popular choices for our students. by no means are we saying we're listing these colleges and saying go apply to these two colleges, but we seem to see from an economic standpoint and a program, and just these two colleges being Broome Community College and Tompkins Cortland Community College, as wonderful educational experiences for our students, and that's why they apply. If you're applying or your student is looking to apply to Broome Community College, please do yourself, us, and everyone around you a favor. If you were to apply to Broome Community College using our SUNY app, it's going to cost you money. If you apply at sunybroome.edu, it is free. What was that, Mrs. Hain?
Free.
One of my favorite words. So, and if you still choose, after hearing that, to apply using suny.edu, please see us in the guidance office, because we certainly will take that money. That could buy a lot of things I'm thinking about, primarily food, and we'll apply for you for free. It'll work for both of us. Come see us. Tompkins Cortland Community College goes in the same way in terms of their application process is free. So we wanted to put these two websites on there and to make sure to say that they're different than these two, because we don't want to see our families spending more money than they have to. We all know the college application process can be a costly one, so we want to minimize your costs as much as humanly possible. Many of our students are already in the process of doing this, and this is something that we do talk about in the classroom because students tend to have questions on it. What do we do with letters of recommendation? I just mentioned the Common App and the SUNY app. All Common App applications ask for a varied amount of recommendations from students in terms of getting from either teachers or community members to represent them in the college application process. Some of our SUNY colleges do, not all, but many of them do ask for a letter of recommendation. So students are at the beginning of the year, their parents are encouraging them to apply to the colleges that they've researched, and they're asking themselves, and us too, who are the best people to write a letter of recommendation? First, let me talk about the function of a letter of recommendation. When your son or daughter applies to college, one of the things that the guidance office does as a function is that we send what's called a transcript. And through the years, we've had a chance to explain the role of a transcript through our parent nights. But let me take a brief second to mention that a transcript will show all the grades that students have accumulated that have earned units of credit. For many of our students, that has started in the middle school with at least taking a foreign language, and it's built up to the senior year. That transcript is that ongoing running document in terms of where your academics are. When you're looking at your transcript, you can start to see and start to understand possibly where certain teachers might be good letter of recommendation writers. For example, if you're a student that has taken an AP or college credit course in your junior year, that might be a teacher that could talk about the rigor of their class as it pertains to you as a student taking that class. Again, going back to the role of the transcript in the application process, we send the colleges that you're applying to a transcript. In a letter of recommendation, colleges want to learn more about a student than just what a student earned in a class. Using my example of a student taking a college level course in high school and having that teacher make a recommendation, we strongly encourage our staff to talk about students' particular attributes as they've seen them in their classroom. That could be taking leadership roles in a classroom, that could be excelling under difficult circumstances. This is some of the way that students and parents should start to think about who is going to be writing those letter recommendations. Many of our colleges want at least 2 letters of recommendations on file, but you want to be thoughtful. You do not want to ask every teacher you've had since kindergarten to write a letter of recommendation. Here's why. We tend to believe in the WeGo Appalachian Central School District that our teachers take great pride in constructing a letter of recommendations. Many of our students will say that when they asked a teacher to do so, that the teacher was taken back, that they were very thankful that that student thought of them to write a letter recommendation. A teacher will do a letter recommendation above and beyond their daily work, their schoolwork, their family work, and they put a lot of, I'll say it, their heart and soul into these documents that represent their students that they're proud of. Students, please think carefully of from 2 to 3 to 4 people who could write a letter recommendation. Think of it in terms of the major and the type of school you're going to. Think in terms of the type of relationship you may have had with a teacher and their ability to write about you as a student. Again, if you have any questions on this information, stop down, talk to us in the guidance office. We can help you with that decision because sometimes it can be a difficult one. Students will ask us, is it okay to have an outside of school source write a letter recommendation? It sure is, but you don't want all of your recommendations coming from outside sources. Colleges tell us that they do want people that have had students in curricular courses writing some of those letters of recommendations. So if you're looking for a club advisor, a church group advisor, someone from an outside source writing about that, please again do it thoughtfully, and you want to look for at least, if you're going to do that, one of those recommendations, but not all of them. Again, any questions, see us in the guidance office. We're going to talk about the role of the activity sheet in this process at a later point in this program as we're explaining this. Because as students go to talk to teachers about doing a letter recommendation, we like them to have an activity sheet in their hand, so that tells that teacher a little bit more about what that student has done inside and outside of school. Jumping down to college essays. Again, I mentioned in an earlier video that college essays was a portion of what our English curriculum and our English teachers tend to focus on in the beginning of the year. It is a thoughtful document. It is also one that is confined to a certain amount of words, and we are told by college admissions officers that they really needed to talk to them a little bit more in-depthly about who a student is. If a student is using the Common App will give suggestions on what could that document be based on. Students might have something that they've persevered through in high school. That commonly can be a subject for a college essay. It doesn't have to be that dynamic, but it has to be dynamic in the sense of when a college admissions officer reads that college essay, it needs to come to life to them. Let's please keep in mind that in the heights of the college admissions season, many of our college professionals are reading upwards of 200 to 250 essays, could be a day. Those are numbers we've actually heard. We didn't just make them up. So you want that college essay to be thoughtful. We want you to know that we have staff on hand to help in that process. Not only English teachers. Here in the counseling office, we tend to love to critique those, to look at them, to see, is it jumping off the page? Is this something that we could get excited about if we were college admissions officers? And provide that direct feedback to students. So again, if college essays is something after we've gone through these first part of the year, if you still have questions on it, students, please ask us. Please note, and we're getting a lot of questions on this already, we did a last run of our grade point average, or GPA, and rank information for students last year. The guidance office is quickly shifting to recalculate this information for senior students. Pretty soon we're going to have on hand a recalculated GPA and rank. And these are a part of the student's transcript, or the document I talked about when I was talking about letters of recommendation and the relationship between that. Please note we're in the process of doing that, and then once we've completed that process, we will be able to say your transcript is ready to be sent to college. But we want to have that updated GPA and rank, and today is September 20th, 2011. We're in the process of working on that right now as diligently as we can. We have to be careful when students are working through the application process, and we had a chance to talk about this at our junior night last spring. that students understand the dynamics in which they are applying to college, and not to completely go over the same information that we talked about last year. We just want to say to students and families, be very careful, because as we discussed, if you're applying early decision to a college, you are saying to that college that if you accept me, I'm not going to any other college or university, I'm going to you. In doing that, the burden becomes on you to make sure that you've done all your homework, and then you know exactly what you have to do in terms of to make that happen. We love in our office something called early action. And again, not to totally redo what we did in the spring, but all it means, hey, college says our early action deadline is November 15th. Get us your stuff meaning transcript, letters of recommendation, application complete, and any other dynamics they need in that process. Get it to us by this date. We will give you a decision, and many times before we hit the holiday break. That's a great thing. So if you're motivated right now at this process to complete the application process, run with it. Get your letters of recommendations in order. Get help with your application in the College Cafe. Have your English teacher, your school counselor, your parents look over your essay to make sure that's where it needs to be. Because it can decrease the anxiety that you're going to feel going through this process. And that's what we're all about. We want to increase the fun, decrease the anxiety. And as a retired counselor in this district used to say by the name of Bob DeVan, it's nice to be thankful by Thanksgiving. And he used to say that as in regards to the college application process. When we talk about that with students, it's not get all your applications done by that time, although that would be great. It's get those most important applications to you. If you have a school that you've been researching and know that you're going to apply to, and you haven't done it by then, we got to ask the question, why haven't you done that? Because you're really helping yourself. I know life is busy, we all do, but carving out that time to either do some college searching, work on the application process, discuss your letter recommendations and who are going to be doing those letter recommendations, working on your college essay, making sure your transcript, oh, and by the way, seniors, there's no senioritis. Colleges do look at your senior year. Make sure that rigor of those courses are what you intend it to be or want you to reflect. And also checking into the admissions requirements. Now's the time to carve out that time in your busy schedule to work on all these dynamics. That's the college application process as we see it. Thank you very much.